Now, Dan, you've been a coach for many years, and then your shift on what you've done in life from Mark, from being a musician, an artist. I mean, you're still being an artist today with everything that you actually forming. I mean, only you and someone like you can actually create what you're creating, and that's why I love because a lot of us need people like you. Need you, the people that are able to design, people that are able to think outside the box. Because I may have a thought on what I want to do, but I don't know how to put it together. Put it that way. I know my strength. I know my weaknesses, and that's a hell of a strength that you have. Just like Brock. Brock is a hell of an artist too, by the way. So
Oh, nice,
one thing that
nice.
yeah, one thing that I wanted to ask you is, you a coach, you teach. If someone, and again, now we're gonna go back to business, not only the metaverse. If someone is looking to hire, to look for a coach, a mentor, how can they do that? What's the best path to take? Or what is the best way to be able to decide which is the best coach for them?
Yeah, that was a really, really important question that when Entre Institute had a big growth spurt, excuse me for a minute, good whiskey.
Yeah,
When Entre had a growth spurt and it was time to bring on more coaches, we had to ask ourselves, what do our coaches need to look like to provide that excellent experience that we insist on, that Jeff Lerner won't put up with anything less of. For the most part, he is just you look at that Entre logo and it's the big letter E, and I feel like that stands for excellence, right? Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to be an
yeah.
Entre,
No,
but
no, go
but
for it, man.
as a coach, we looked at that. What we need to provide to people to be top notch.
Yeah.
And I always had this vision of I was in pest control back in the good old days in my earlier years until I started growing a third eye from the chemicals. We had it removed, thank God. But yeah, but we would go to these conferences every single year. There was we had to do ongoing training with the state of Minnesota, so we'd go to these conferences, and the guys from oh, I forget the company name, but anyways, the one company, they
Yeah.
were like so everybody knew they were the best pest control guys. Their training program was like almost a year instead of 6 weeks, and they had all the really scientific jobs, and they had the best equipment, the coolest outfits. I mean, everybody wanted to work for that company. And when they would walk into the room, there was 300 or 400 pest control guys sitting in this big banquet room at a hotel, and they would walk in last, and they would walk in single file, right? And it was almost a big production as they came in, and everybody was talking like, "Oh, there's those guys, yeah, those badasses." And so for us, it was all about building that team where when we walk into the room, people know that we're not messing around. And so how do we define a good coach from a not good coach? The first qualification for me, in my opinion, is they have to have some proof. You can't just teach, you have to do. First you do and learn, and
Yeah.
then you teach after you have results, right? I was so blessed. I had a failed newspaper, and failed is a little harsh word. I closed it. I chose to close it up because it was
Yeah.
failing, right? It
Yeah.
hadn't failed yet, but I could see the writing on the wall. And so we turned that into a digital agency, and it was such a tragedy, and I was hurt. It was my baby. I built that damn thing. Excuse my French. And when we turned it into a digital agency, at the time, I thought it was a thing for me. But now coming in as a coach, it was my proof. I had to have that proof to start coaching.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we look for that in a coach for sure. And I think that's what you should look for too if you're looking for a coach. I also think that you have to reserve yourself to hiring somebody who is going to piss you off on a regular basis, hopefully,
Yeah.
and is going to actually hold you accountable, not tell you the nice stuff all the time. This is something I'm working on, by the way, as you know, Carlos, right? I'm Minnesota nice, and I sometimes I have to say, hey, what are you doing? You didn't complete the task, Carlos. How come?
Yeah.
Did you screw up the calendar again? Right? And I have to be able to say that, and people are upset at
Yeah.
that. So when you're looking for that coach, I think it's important to choose somebody that's going to push you. It's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, as your coach, I'll push
Important.
right back too. In a good way.
Yeah.
Love.
That's true. That's true.
And I also think that you need somebody who has, and this has been a hard lesson for me because as I first started coaching, and for the first few, you were really featuring and focusing on just getting curriculum done. Once you get the
Hmm.
curriculum done, my hands are washed, right? now I see that there's a better way, and we've been implementing that for a couple of years now as we've grown this program. But the right way to do it is to make sure you're caring for that person, not just as business, but also, professional, right? But there's also the physical aspect and the mental, the personal relationship aspect. That when you approach that as a holistic um, program, I think it's more effective.
Got it.